Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees. Well, that was fast, but fast in a good way. The Yankees sweep the Cleveland Indians 2-0. Even though it seems kind of weird, only 2-0 is a sweep, but again, that's a wild card round. Best of three. They sweep the Indians and will now go on to face the Tampa Bay Rays in the American League Division Series in San Diego, California. We'll get into Tampa shortly, but first let's break down the wild card series. So game one was kind of a laugher. I mean, the Yankees jumped out on a lead and really never looked back. Immediate 2-0 lead, started by Aaron Judge in the first inning, 2-run homer. Very good sign because you weren't sure how Judge was going to respond. Didn't really have a great end to the regular season. He had limited at bats. But boom, puts the Yankees up 2-0 right away. The Yankees tack on another run, make it 3-0. Now the Indians do claw back, make it 3-1. But then after that, the Yankees just go on cruise control and end up winning 12-3, a game you never really felt that the Yankees were in danger of losing, and especially with Cole on the mound. I mean, he cruised along, gave you the dominant start that you were hoping for. It's what you kind of paid for and were expecting. And again, in a short series like this, again, best of three and 2 losses and you're out. So you want to win that first game, and Cole delivered for the Yankees. A big-time performance. Of course, with Higashioka behind the mound, got his kind of personal valet catcher, which you figure was going to happen. Cole was fantastic. 7 innings, only two earned runs, 0 walks, and a dominating 13 strikeouts. And as for Cleveland's ace, Shane Bieber, who's someone who might win the American League Cy Young Award, the Yankees roughed him up. Just barely went about 4 chunk innings. And again, it was pretty much a laugh for the Yankees. There was no time we felt, they might, the Indians might come back. And again, if you look into that night, if you're looking also pay attention to politics a little bit. Also in Cleveland, a short mile away, you had the presidential debate at 9 o'clock. So again, Yankee game starts at 7. They jumped out to a big lead. Cole's cruising. So if you wanted to switch over to the debate at 9 o'clock, the Yankees gave you that option. It's very nice of them for the voters, and it was just good for a number of Yankees. Just in terms of the offense it put up. I mean, before the series started, I felt they should go with Clint Frazier, but I guess Boone, he knows more than me, stuck with the veteran Gardner, and he paid off, contributed a home run, also got home runs from Gleyber Torres as well as Stanton, and it was good just to see those two also contribute home runs because, again, they didn't really have great seasons, and Torres, yes, he played most of the season, but it wasn't the same play as he seemed a season ago, so just for him to contribute game one with a home run was great. So, again, the Yankees take it 12-3. Go on cruise control, up 1-0, and really puts the pressure on the Indians for game 2. So game 1 was a breeze. Game 2 was the heart attack nail biter, and probably will end up being one of the greatest Yankee playoff games ever. I mean, it's a game you're going to see in the future on classic Yankee games. Just an excellent game. Now a very long game, kind of a complicated game, sometimes tough to watch. A lot of bad pitching, a lot of walks, but kind of a back and forth seesaw affair. And you have the Indians basically, fighting off elimination. The Yankees trying to just end it right there, and both teams going back and forth. And again, a really classic game that probably going to be replayed over and over. So the Yankees fall behind early, but there's a little story behind that. The game was supposed to start at 7, rain in the forecast, so they said, all right, we're going to start at 7:50. So you figure that they're looking at the Doppler and all that stuff and figure, all right, we'll start on time, there'll be no rain, or just it'll be a rain, maybe a little mist. Totally wasn't the case. They started at 7:50, and by the time Tanaka got on the mound at the bottom of first, it was like a torrential downpour. I mean, I don't know why they didn't see that coming and why they couldn't just push it back even further. Tanaka wasn't effective at all. Did fall behind 1-0 and left some runners on base before they finally had to pull at the top. So you have another delay in the game. So finally Tanaka gets back out there, starts pitching again after being cold for 40 minutes. Gives up another couple runs. Yankees ultimately behind 4-0. It seems like, all right, well, they're going to lose this one, and you're going to need a game 3 decider. But it wasn't the case. The Yankees started chipping away. That's the one good thing about when you fall behind early. It does give you an opportunity to chip away. And again, the Yankees do have the bats to kind of get into it quick with one swing. Again, half the runs this season have been via the home run. And of all people, again, Giancarlo Stanton, again, a guy Yankee fans have been kind of in ire with. He gets his scoring started. Opposite field home run to right field. Now the Yankees are down 4-1, so you figure a little better. A couple of innings later, the Yankees end up loading the bases on a rally started by Aaron Hicks, and then they have Gio Urshela up and, amazingly hits a grand slam, and in just one swing of the bat, the Yankees go from down 4-1 up to 5-4. Momentum, everything changes. You still have Tanaka on the mound. He's dealing, but then eventually, they have to yank him out. And the Yankees from that point have to go with the bullpen. And the bullpen for the Yankees really, and this is kind of a bigger issue, wasn't that great. I mean, Green got touched up for a couple of runs. Britton wasn't effective. Ultimately, Chapman had to come on and do 2 innings, something he hasn't done all season long to get 6 outs. Luckily got through it all, but it was a real seesaw, affair. Like the Yankees would go up by 2 runs and Cleveland would come back, tie it up. The Yankees would go up, Cleveland would come back. Ultimately, in the 9th inning, bottom of the 9th, Chapman's on the mound. Cleveland gets a blue pit, boom. Bottom of the 8th, they score a run, so now they're winning 9-8. And like, oh my God, the Yankees will lose this game, you need game 3. But no, that wasn't the case. With 2 runners on, Gio Charlotte feels a ground ball on his butt, basically. Makes a double play on his butt, a ball hit from Carlos Santana, turns a double play. Yankees get out of it. So you figure, even though you're down by 1 run, you figure it could have been worse. They could have ended up being down by 3 runs. So gave the Yankees a glimmer of hope. And in the 9th inning, again, that player again, Giancarlo Stanton, starts the inning off with a walk. Yankees get a couple more walks, blue pip, and eventually now you have the bases loaded. Gary Sanchez, who, early in the night did hit a home run. And again, it seems like, he's starting to pick it up with the bat a little bit, just in terms of some home runs and some timely hits. Hits a nice sacrifice fly to center field, ties the game. So now next you have DJ LeMahieu up on an 0-2 pitch. Again, 0-2. There's no reason why he should get a good swing. Gets a little I guess a bouncer, you would say, up the middle. Bounces like a million times. It's like a clown car. Everyone tried to jump on the ball, can't get it. Ball goes to center field. The Yankees take the lead, 10-9. Bring Chapman out for the bottom of the 9th. Makes you sweat a little bit, but overall comfortably gets the save, and now the Yankees go on to win. So it's 2-0. The Yankees do sweep the series. Again, kind of expected. They figured would go to 3 games, and just the way that game was turning out last night, it just feel like a game that the Yankees were going to lose, because anytime the Yankees went ahead, ahead later on, Cleveland would storm right back. But it was a really good gritty game for the Yankees. Gio Charlotte, again, probably had the game of his life. Again, the first Yankee third baseman to hit a grand slam in the postseason, and the game itself took forever. Ended up sometime 1 in the morning. A little under. The game was about 4 hours and 50 minutes. Plus you had again a 76-minute of total of 2 different rain delays. So a long night and a lot of sloppy pitching. There were 19 walks in total, which actually ties a postseason record going back to the 1956 World Series between the Yankees and Milwaukee Braves. So again, not crisp pitching, but through it all, the Yankees get through it. Tanaka, again, wasn't great to start, but not going to blame him on that one, because he started in bad conditions. Then he was resting his arm for 40 minutes, then has to come back on the mound. So not a good, not a good day for pitching. But overall, the bigger problem would be the bullpen, because the Yankee had multiple leads that got squawked away by Green and Britt not be effective. And again, this is where the Yankees didn't have Tommy Kahnle, because he lost him early in the year to Tommy John surgery. Chapman's a bit better, but the Yankee bullpen, even though very, very, very good, don't see it as dominant as it was last year, and that might be an issue moving forward. But they go ahead. But the bigger news is that the offense really seemed to wake up. Again, players like Stanton, Sanchez, you're getting the hits again from Gio Charlotte, because he had the bone chips in his elbow there for a little bit, so he looks like he's healthy. So the overall big news is that now the offense really seems to be clicking. So if you get that offense clicking with the way Cole's pitching, that's a great recipe for the Yankees, and that's what they're going to need for the next round against Tampa, who's much tougher than the Cleveland Indians. So now it's a showdown, the American League Divisional Series against those pesky Tampa Bay Rays. And this is the series I think everyone wanted. I think Yankee fans want this. Whatever 3 fans the Rays have want it. And I think baseball wanted it, because this rival has been building for the past couple of years. I mean, you had CC plunking one of their players a couple of years ago as revenge. Then you had earlier this season Chapman going high on Mike Brousseau, causing him to get the 3-game suspension, which luckily is going to get pushed to next season because they can't find witnesses, even though there's things called television cameras, and we will see what happened. But anyway, to benefit the Yankees, Chapman wasn't suspended for the season. So they go against the Rays. Now, this is going to be in San Diego, California. Again, it's part of the bubble aspect. And I think it actually benefits the Yankees in a certain way. Cole, I just think, the weather out there should be good for him. And as long as, it's good weather for Cole in California, I think that this benefits the Yankees. Now, it's a best-of-5 series. Now, technically, since the Rays had a better record, they're the AL East champs, they're going to be considered the home team. So it's going to be a 2-2-1 format. So it'll be 2 games, even though, again, it's all going to take place in the same Padres stadium. But the Rays will be considered the home team for the first 2 games, and the Yankees will be considered the home team for the next 2 games. And then a Game 5, if necessary, would be Tampa would be the home game. So it's best of 5, so you need 3 to win. Now the way it works out, the Yankees are going to have a long layoff because the games don't even start till Monday. So you're looking at Cole getting a full 5 games rest, which is again probably a little more than he's used to. But that was the situation with Cole ending the season and going to his first start against Cleveland, and he was fantastic. So I don't think it'll be a big issue. The big issue is like how's the rest of the rotation going to stack up? Because number 2, okay, you're going to go for Tanaka. After that, you got Happ. You got David Garcia, who's been good for the Yankees, but now you're talking about the playoff and something he hasn't experienced. And then, again, you're going to bring back Cole, on short rest. And then, even with Cole on short rest, and if it's Game 5, if necessary, you figure it's going to be a bullpen, all hands on deck. But it's sort of an interesting postseason because, usually normal postseason, you have a game, then you have a game off, then you have a game, then you have a game off. This is going to be 5 in a row. So this is going to be more like a regular season sort of matchup where, maybe you can't use like Chapman 2 nights in a row, or you can't use Green 2 or 3 nights in a row. Again, if it's a do or die, they'll push these guys. But again, it's not your normal situation where we get a scheduled day off in between. As for the teams itself, again, the Rays, were kind of a thorn in the Yankees' side this season. Slapped them around. They gave the Yankees a bunch of tough losses, especially towards the second half of this short season. But a few things to consider with that. And that's during the time when the Yankees were kind of in that real bad period where they had a bunch of injuries, a bunch of players out. They were playing terribly. So, even though the Rays are a good team, this is going to be a much different Yankee team. I mean, everyone's back. Judge is back. Stanton's back. LeMayo's hitting. Everyone's back. So it's not going to be the same team that the Rays faced a few weeks ago. So something to be considered. Now, again, they have a very good starting rotation. They have a very good bullpen. Hitting-wise, I think you have to give the edge to the Yankees. And overall, as a team, I think the Yankees should win this. But I think it's going to be feisty. Again, these are teams that just seem like don't like each other. You got a lot of history there, so it should be exciting. But overall, only thing I just worry about is, again, with this Yankee bullpen, it just seems like Green and Britton. Chavez is okay, but this Green and Britton, who are you really going to rely on for the 6th and 7th and part of the 8th inning, they got to be much better. It just seems like they give up a double or run, and then all right, then they settle in, they strike some people out, and they get out of the jam. But this, in terms of them just coming out and just giving up nothing and no runs, they haven't been able to do that. So that could be that could be a problem for the Yankees, where it just seems like with Tampa, as kind of their manager Kevin Cash says, we could just pull out a whole string of guys that throw 98. And again, there's no big name players really in the bullpen, but they all just seem to be good. And the Yankees, the last couple of series weren't able to touch them. So got to consider that. In this situation, again, if you just get Cole Game 1, you should be well rested. If you just get that first game and just try to piece together whatever you can in Games 2 or 3. Again, I still don't like the idea of having to start Happ or Devi Garcia, but the Yankees are going to be forced to. But overall, again, as long as all things being even, this seems like the offense is really waking up. And again, the Yankee offense, when you have someone like Gary Sanchez, who's now starting to wake up, and again, could hit a home run anytime, batting 9th, it just shows you the clear advantage the Yankee lineup has over other teams. So overall, I think they should get past this round. And if they do, now they'll be playing the winner of could either be Houston or whatever to be determined. So chances are, if Houston might be waiting for them for the league, for now the American League Championship Series, which would be great because there could be almost a little revenge tour for the Yankees. Get revenge on the Rays a little bit, and then get the big revenge against the Houston Astros. But don't want to get too far ahead. Got to focus on the Rays. But again, starts Monday. Got a good feeling. Cole will be on the mound. Overall, they should beat the Rays. Even though the Rays have been a pain in the neck for the Yankees should win this series. So the Yankees passed the first test, get past the wild card round. Again, give us an excellent Game 2. Show a lot of heart, a lot of grit. Again, look like the Yankees again for the first time since last October. And kind of gives you the kind of performance that would take to be a World Series champion. So looks like it's there for the Yankees. It's still there, and it almost looks like they flipped on with a switch, which is really good news. So again, you got this series against Tampa, and the Yankees should take care of business against them. And if all that goes well, we'll be here previewing the ALCS. Until then, mask on and fingers crossed.